Nokia reportedly looking to re-enter the handset business, which it sold to Microsoft back in 2013. Here with more details on Nokia's plans is Daniel Gleeson, a mobile technology analyst with IHS, with us now from London. And Daniel, Nokia's non-compete with Microsoft expires towards the end of next year, but the company is already planning to get back into the space. What are they doing?
Nokia, rather than doing what it did before and building out a full manufacturing process, this time we'll be looking to simply license its brand and some of its technology to a manufacturing partner who will do most of the heavy lifting. This will, in effect, limit Nokia's financial exposure and risk and should enable it to dip its toes back into the handset market.
And also get their name out there as well, right?
Exactly. This is the main thing that Nokia is looking to do, that it still has a huge brand asset, particularly in many emerging markets where smartphone penetration is not very high at the moment compared to many Western markets or even China, talking particularly about Africa and the Middle East. So that's really where the next wave of growth is going to come from in smartphones. So moving into having a smartphone, a Nokia branded smartphone on the market, could look to take advantage of that, particularly into 2016 and 2017. Nokia also has a lot of its own technologies and patents which it has developed and which it still holds, which it can also use to really differentiate those handsets in the market, but also use to create a de facto standard for certain technologies, which will then, hopefully, it will be aiming to drive further licensees for those technologies as well.
But of course, the big question here now is how will they compete with Apple, which sold 47.5 million iPhones during its most recent quarter? That's a 60% increase from last year. So what do you think? How will they compete with the iPhone?
Well, realistically, I do not think that the new Nokia phones will be competing with the iPhone. Instead, the iPhone operates at very much the premium end of the handset market. Instead, the new Nokia handsets will most likely be operating at the low-cost end of the market, mainly in emerging markets, as I said, probably in Africa, Latin America, Middle East and Asia. So they'll be competing very much with Samsung, but crucially with a lot of emerging Chinese brands, like with Huawei, Lenovo, who just purchased Motorola off Google, and as well with Xiaomi, who are rapidly expanding now into India and will probably expand into Brazil. And that's really where Nokia's patent licensing in particular becomes very, very important, because a lot of these Chinese brands have had issues expanding beyond China because of their lack of patents and they therefore get sued quite easily as soon as they go outside of China. So that's something that Nokia will have as an advantage.
So Daniel, how big of an impact do you think this eventual handset business will have on Nokia's stock?
It's very tough to say right now how successful this will be, mainly because we have no idea what scale Nokia is planning to do this on, which markets it's looking to target, or even at that, what segment of the market it's looking to target. So right now it's very difficult to give any sort of scale or any sort of judgment on how much of an impact it will make on Nokia. As with anything with handsets, scale is of utmost importance to be able to turn any sort of margin. We already see the likes of Sony, HTC and LG. Once they lose their scale, their profitability is shrinking back massively. Even Samsung has seen its operating margin decline substantially in the last couple of quarters. And that's just because the smartphone market is rapidly commoditizing. So unless it gets scale and unless it has a way to differentiate that product in the market, it's not really going to be moving anywhere quickly.
All right, Daniel, we'll leave it there. Daniel Gleeson, a mobile technology analyst with IHS. Thanks very much for your time.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Gamm, and you're watching The Street.